everyone. In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about feline star beings, these spiritual beings that come from a much higher dimension than the one that we live in here in our human dimension, in the 3D dimension on the physical plane. My name is Nancy Rebecca. I'm a clairvoyant, I'm a nurse, and most of the time I'm really focusing my life. I've been called to focus on educating you about the dynamics of your human energy field. But what I can tell you is I have this capacity to kind of travel interdimensionally and see into the underworld. I can see into the upper world. And what I've known to be true over these 25 years is I will often see the changes in the spiritual world just before the change is about to happen in the physical world. And that's exactly what happened that has kind of inspired me to make this video. So I'm a little late in making the video because this happened in September of 2020, and I wrote a blog about it, did a Facebook live video about it, but I was still just finishing up chemotherapy and starting radiation, so kind of like back in the saddle again and going through my notes, and thought that I would kind of catch up and share this information with you, because if I was seeing it, I imagine there's many of you out there that was witnessing it as well. So for me, when I started witnessing them, I could see them kind of start to move, kind of descend into the earthly plane. They were very tall, around 12 to 15 feet high. I saw them as very tall and slender, very similar to like in the movie Avatar. And they had very strong feline features. I would imagine, I think in the movie Avatar, I think that they may have had some qualities, feline qualities about them as well. But I saw these strong feline features. Now, I saw them come through pretty predominantly as blue, this kind of a luminescent blue light. And it really startled me because I started seeing them by the thousands. When I was working with clients, sometimes I'd see the clients or my students kind of features of kind of a lion feature would kind of come through in their energy field and then kind of move back to the back. So I was just really curious about what this was about. However, I have also seen these star beings of light, that I call them, as very kind of a golden white light, like very bright, like an LED light. So when I asked to kind of sit with the feline beings to ask why there was this surge, why are they coming to the earth so much at this time, they were able to explain to me, you know, they've been coming to the earth since the beginning of time, since Atlantean times and Lemurian times. They have come to the earth to help humans on the earth. And they've explained to me that they came from a very ancient planet, and there was a big kind of galactic war. I know this sounds kind of otherworldly, but this is kind of what I was experiencing, them telling me telepathically, that there was a big war that displaced them off of their own planet. They were welcomed and embraced by the Pleiadeans and by Sirians, another grouping of star beings. And so they have kind of blended with these other beings of light that come to earth to help us at that conscious level. So I now know, because afterwards I went and kind of looked up, because I thought, there's got to be, somebody has to have written about these because they're so predominant. And sure enough, I was able to find some information that they were called Lyrans, so Lyrans. So I invite you to probably do some more YouTube searches or put it in the search engine to see if you can read more about it. But there is also an Egyptian goddess by the name of Sekhmet, who is a lion goddess. She is known as the lion goddess of war and of healing. And she also has another aspect of who she is known as Bastet, which is the house cat. So Sekhmet has a much more kind of powerful lioness energy, and Bastet has a much gentler, calming energy. But both of those are very connected to this feline celestial being that I'm talking about. So when I asked them why was there a surge on the earth, what they were explaining to me was because they know what it's like to have experience out of balance power that left over time or evolved over time was very destructive to their civilization and very destructive to their planet. And so because they have this high wisdom and knowledge about what that's like, that they were coming to Earth. And again, I said this was in September 2020, that the surge started coming in because there was a huge power imbalance on our earth at that time. And if you will review, because I know some of you are going to be watching this video years from now, so just to help kind of trigger that memory, we were leading up to our elections that were happening in November. And so as we were leading up to that, there was just a big divide between people, and there was just a lot of power imbalances, and we weren't quite sure how to bring it back into harmony. So that's when I started witnessing these feline spirit guides, if you want to call them that, star beings coming to the earth to help us, support us as we started harmonizing peace back onto the earth. Now, what they have explained is that there are many on the earth at this time that hold the star seed, energy in our ancestral lines. Now, being initiated as a Sangoma in the Sangoma tradition in South Africa, I went through an Abalozi ceremony. And so this is my cloth, one of my cloths from that ceremony, and it's blue and has a huge blue lion on it. So the Abalozis are known as the star beings. And so this is very much a part of their culture and a part of knowing that they came from the stars. That their ancient culture in South Africa came from the stars. I'm also wearing my necklace, which is a tiger. It's made of tiger's eye, and I picked this up in China when I was there in search of the blue light, and I found a community of indigenous people who are known to follow the path of the white tiger. So now I know years later that those are associated with the feline beings, the star beings, an ancient culture. So let's see, I just want to look at my note. So, okay, the huge surge I was talking about in September. So pardon me, because there was so much information that came through. Talked about Sekhmet. Okay, so this is a thing that was really, I thought, really interesting, because in our own politics, there's a lot of conversation about, the top 1% holding all the power and nobody else has the power and all this stuff. So I found it interesting that as I was talking to them, they were sharing with me since the beginning of time, they have come through, the great societies on our earth, and one of them being the Egyptian society, the Egyptian culture. And they said that they used to come through the kings and the queens and the pharaohs and the priests, those in higher power, high influencers is what they said. And so they felt that if they could help uplift the leaders in consciousness to expand their consciousness from just that 3D consciousness to 5D up to 7D consciousness, that once they had that consciousness to help bring harmony and peace to humanity, that those leaders then would infuse and pass that knowledge on to everyone else, that they would use the the authority of their power to help uplift others. But what they explained to me is that that didn't work very well. And we're kind of finding that now with some of our leaders all over the world, that it's very rare that you will find a leader that really thinks about all of humanity. So they're here to help that as well. But they said, but now where we are in 2021, which is the time that I'm recording this video, is what they're saying is that they're no longer choosing, I guess, to come through the leaders, the people at the top, the high influencers who are in charge of leading the people. Now they're having the people be the leaders. It's like boots on the ground is what they explained. Those who are walking the earth on a day-to-day basis. So that's why I started seeing them with just normal, average people like me, like you, that they started coming through. They started kind of reawakening those star seeds in you so that you could bring through that higher level of consciousness that will begin to shift from the bottom up to the top. So if you kind of imagine a pyramid, it's like, all right, the leaders are going to make changes because the people are insisting that the changes need to be made for the peace and harmony on the earth. I remember as a registered nurse that I went to talk to the president of the hospital, the CEO of the hospital that I was working at, because I really wanted to get energy healing, quantum healing. I felt like I had worked at that hospital for 25 years and I felt like they should start adding energy healing to be available for the patients in the hospital. And I remember the CEO saying to me that, before I wouldn't have been open to this, but I have to say, as we're doing the research, people are spending billions of dollars on alternative therapies. So we at the hospital, the leaders of the hospital, need to figure out how to get those dollars into the medical system. And I kind of laughed inside because it was just like, oh, see, it always comes down to money. It's like if they can make money off of alternative therapies, then they can allow it into the hospital, not because it's really good for people and it can shorten their hospital stays and things like that. So it's kind of like that now. That's what the Lyrans, the feline star beings, that some of the most ancient celestial beings in our galaxies and our universe are here to tell us that after thousands and thousands of years of evolution, they are finding that they need to come through the average person who is supporting all the growth on the earth. And so I think that's a really cool thing. If you've had an experience with the blue light beings, if you feel really connected to the felines, if you've been doing work with Sekhmet or Bastet, I would love to hear your story in the comments section. Because remember, I'm that practical nurse, ICU nurse, hospice nurse. I had never heard of this at all until my clairvoyant sight illuminated their existence and they began flooding the earth in September 2020. So I would love to hear your stories as well. Let's see. I think I've pretty much covered what I wanted to talk about. So the Lyrans are here. The feline beings of light are here to help activate those star seeds inside of you. And once those get activated, then you have an easier time expanding your conscious awakening to be able to travel between the third dimension, which is our physical body dimension, into our spiritual dimension and back and forth, and have that harmony between our spirit and our body. The Lyrans, the feline beings of light, are saying they know what it's like to be in war because of out of balance power. They are battling right now in the celestial realms to try to bring peace. And then that peace may be in the celestial realms. We're seeing lots of battles going on between even us and our neighbors who might believe differently or have political differences and ideas. Maybe you're battling yourself. Maybe you're trying to expand, but you're being super critical and judgmental of yourself. Maybe you hate yourself. Maybe you're trying to love yourself, or you're trying to love, people who have hurt and harmed you, or you're trying to forgive. And that's a battle in itself, isn't it? So these feline beings of light are here to help us bring it into balance, to not have to go into war, and to help us to heal those imbalances as we move forward into the future. So remember, I talked about this year in November of 2021 is another surge of blue light coming into Teotihuacan in Mexico, and in 2023 will be another surge, and then there's going to be this big kind of opening, at least the information that I'm getting, in 2025. So let me tell you a little bit about some of the charming personality traits of the Lyrans, of the lion goddesses, of the Bastet. These feline beings. What are some of the qualities that you might recognize in yourself to know that you are part of the light beings of the feline? They are huge energetic influencers. They love to work with the mind to move energy. So it's like you can move energy with positive thoughts, you can move energy with negative thoughts, but they're very good at moving energy in a big way. They are fearless protectors, and they are here to help protect humanity. Feline people love anything that's cutting edge, that is on the fringe, new trendsetters. If you have a lot of those qualities, that means you've got a lot of that feline essence in you. Again, I talked about the mind moving the energy. Very heart-centered, very lion-hearted, very creative, and they've talked a lot about this being a huge creative renaissance surge that's happening over the next few years, meaning anything that you do creative is going to help you really kind of settle and calm and ride a more gentle wave of this kind of evolutionary awakening that's happening on the earth. And they are always in the battle of good and evil. I call it kind of righting the wrongs. So if you have a strong sense of activism inside, that you want to find justice, you want to right wrongs, there's a strong possibility that you've got the feline star being energy somewhere, starseed energy somewhere in your ancestral lines. So this time is about remaining lion-hearted, but also allowing the lion aspect or the feline aspect to roar its truth to humanity, to use our voice to roar that truth. So there's a meditation that they gave me, which is it's a beautiful meditation. It's quite different than anything I've experienced before, so I'm really happy to be sharing it with you. And it's called a purring meditation, where if you can just think of a house cat that purrs. I have actually been able to be around a leopard that purrs, and it's loud, and the lions purr very, very loud. So we're going to do a little meditation where you feel that rumbling deep inside of that, purring deep inside of you, to activate those star seeds that you may be holding in your ancestral lines. And again, only if you feel comfortable with it to join us. So for those who are comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes and turn within to illuminate your inner world to you. Say hello to your body and say hello to your spirit. And if you feel more comfortable having some of your own guides and angels surrounding you, you can call in Jesus or Buddha or Shiva or whoever, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, the archangels, call them in to surround you if you'd feel more comfortable. Some of you may feel and know, maybe even see or hear the feline star beings' presence in the room that you're in. You may experience a high-pitched sound in your ears, which is a strong indicator that the frequency in the room that you're in, the frequency has gone up higher. This is a very simple meditation. Tune in to the inside of you and imagine, just like a gentle house cat, this gentle purring start to happen at your core, this vibration, a purring vibration starts at the center of your solar plexus, where your gut instinct is. Allow that purring vibration to begin moving through your body and all of your chakras at your core. A very gentle purring. That purring of pure contentment, pure comfort. As you awaken to your own fierce fearlessness, but also your own lion-heartedness. You can move. Remember, the feline star beings love to move energy with their mind. They love to influence energies with their mind. So move that purring energy into your hips and your legs and your feet. Move that purring energy into your shoulders, your arms and hands, and your head and your back. Just by thinking about it. Now imagine, if you feel comfortable with that level, a panther or a leopard or a mountain lion, a tiger, the king of the jungle, the lion. If you feel comfortable, allow a louder purr to move through you on the inside of your body and your energy field. Allow that louder purr to move up to your throat area, your 5th chakra. And if nobody's home and you're in the privacy of your own home or not, you can play with roaring like a lion. Ooh-wee, beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and call you all back now. You may feel your own star being star seeds getting a little more activated with those sounds. You can, if it felt good to you and it felt right and in alignment with you, then allow yourself to go back and repeat that exercise, that healing of purring meditation anytime you want. And if it felt weird and strange and just not your bag, then go ahead and let it go, because this is the year of trusting your own inner instincts. And so not everyone is going to align with this truth. But here we are in 2021, and I am still seeing these star beings, feline beings around, offering all this love, offering all this support, helping us to remember that we can bring our humanity back into a state of peace and harmony. And don't forget, that was my last line, to roar your truth like a lion. All right, everyone, if you like these teachings and these meditations and you haven't subscribed before, just take a second to click that subscribe button, click the bell. And on my Facebook page, the Blue Light Movement group, I welcome all of you to join us for our monthly talks and our group healings around the surge of blue light that plans to come back through this year. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. Bye-bye.